Now we're okay.
Kenny, you were very patient.
How are you, Walter, buddy?
I'm great, thank you very much.
Good to hear.
Besides sinus infection, I'm quite fine.
Okay, before Shalom.
Thank you very much. How are you? What were you eating that you didn't offer us there?
Hazelnuts.
Okay.
Yes.
Herschele, was machst du, Herschele?
Not much. A lot of learning today.
Okay.
I just hope it sticks in my head.
So
Right.
Walter
Yeah.
prepare a lot of whiskey for Shabbos, eh?
For,
4 ounces.
This,
4 ounces.
I'm not coming on the Suba share, you know. It's not for me. What is this? What is this? Ernie's paskening halachas. I can't. You know what? I think that you have to look. I didn't want to say anything this year because I didn't want to disturb this year. But I think that you have to look at the ikar of the chamra. What is it worth? In other words, you're drinking something which is very choshev. Where is it on the chashivas, or is it on the eichus? Is it the amount that you drink, or is the chashivas that you're drinking? So there's a lot of shilas like that. And first of all, Shabbos morning is a completely
It's a different, it's a different ball.
the different kiddush. It's not the rise. A whole lot of halachas. So I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about here. I'll remember that I went in one year, and I'm not sure if I remember it tomorrow. No, I'm not joking. It's a very serious, and
You're right. The
I'm not
kiddush
sure
is very different. It's different.
and what he said about the plastic kalim being they're disposable because they're cheap. They're not disposable because they're disposable. It's disposable because it doesn't cost that much, so people throw it out. But otherwise, if it would cost more, they wouldn't throw it out so quickly because you can drink out of it 5 times. I can assure you that, or 10 times.
For sure. Well, whereas the paper, you don't really.
No,
That's
the paper.
The plastic and the paper are very different.
The paper is a completely different issue. And I was saying, what year was this written? You're paskening. They don't want to argue with the people who paskened 20 years ago or 30 years ago. In the last 5 years, the quality, can you imagine you sit on Pesach, you got to eat on kalim, earthenware? No, a lot of people eat today on fancy plastic. And, what are you going to say that that's not a keli already? Because that's what you're saying in essence. You're saying that the cost is not a keli, therefore you're not allowed to use it. And that's not true.
Oh, but those little plastic.
But Ernie, those little things can be washed 10 times and you can use them 10 times. It's just what your Machutin said.
But I don't think those were ever used more than once.
But that's not true.
Because you choose not to.
I'm not allowed. People choose not to because it's cheap.
When you're at a kiddush, exactly. You're not going to put them back, and nobody's going to wash it. The intent is one-time use.
But even if that intent is, first of all, Shabbos
now
Shabbos morning is completely different kiddush, Ernie.
It's kiddush to Rabbanan. That's why
I understand.
You still need a revius yayin, even if the wine was a $5,000 bottle, the shear of revius is still required. So there is a echus and a kamus. So we know that we should use a finer wine for kiddush than a less fine wine. So if you have 2 bottles, one is 5,000, one is 1,000. There's a chashivas, and you should use the better wine. So there's an echus din, but the kamus has a minimum. Now, when it comes to whiskey, you don't need a revius whiskey to be yotzei if you're making a shahakol on the. Okay, we'll get to that. I guarantee you, we will have that at full, and we will see whether there's any problem. There are leniencies. We see that This is allowed according to many poskim. We just saw the machmirim today, but we will get to the
I like to be machmir on Kiddush on Shabbos morning.
now. We're up.
You didn't get it.
I
You didn't
got
get
it.
what
I got it.
Ernie didn't get it.
I got it.
Okay.
It's a good
Maybe
reason.
Yavna, we should like get like silver shot glasses or something.
By
for you,
the way,
you know?
you know what? I'll work on it. Mishpochet Bornstein must have had a complete, Tvika's Mishpocha Bornstein must have had an influence on the
Tempo.
halacha there with the tempo.
Tempo.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, they got a mention there.
Right.
Reif toifes arba amis latuma. Chachamim made a gzeira that anything within arba amis of a corpse becomes tummy, because we're concerned that kohanim and other people who eat taharis will get too close. They'll be mahil over the mace, to become tummy. Tonatuna chotzer kever. They used to have a courtyard in front of a grave. This was when the graves were like in a cave. So ha'oime b'soicho tohor. If you stand in the chotzer, you're tor. V'hu shiyu ba'arba amis. If it was 4 by 4 amis. It's ha'oimim arba tfachim. This has to be 4 by 4 tfachim. That's if the opening of the chotzer is above and you go down to it. Opening is from the side, then you need a bigger space. Klapilaya, otherwise it's the opposite. Minatzad midriv enofik. If the opening is from the side, you can get in and out easily, and you don't come close to the tumah. But if the Pesach is right above, you're always going to be mile over the maze. So it should be a larger area if the opening is above. In fact, the Gemara switches. That it's enough 4 by 4 tfachim. The Mesaima mechitzisosa. Chotzer has walls. But a corpse just lying there, then anything around it by 4 amis becomes tummy. Then the Mishnah said, Mia isha asher eras isha, Torah asher eras, echad amaris is apsula, echad amaris is almana. Whether you gave kiddushin to a psula, to an almana, or your brother died, and you're waiting to be miyabim his wife, 5 brothers, 1 brother died. All 4 go back because they all relate to this woman as potential ishto. This is lo lakach v'lo lakacha. Prat laman l'kohen gadol. You don't go back if you gave kiddushin, you're a kohen gadol, you gave it to an almana. Or grusha v'chlutz l'kohen edya. Mamzer s'nesin liYisrael, baz Yisrael mamzer nesin. Layman l'ok Rabbi Yosef Glili. Let us say that our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yosef Glili. Rabbi Yosef Glili, Amar Hayar v'rachalev of zeh mitzvah maver shebiyado. And that's a person who's afraid of his sins. And the person who married a Kohen Gadol Almana is a sinner. So he already is going back because of his sins. Afilutem Rabbi Yosef Glili kid Rabbi Damar Rabbi Lo Olam Ina Chayvat Sheyivo. A Kohen Gadol who gives kiddushin only to an almana, you only get malchus once he has relations with her. Matam lo yikach mishum lo yichala. The reason you don't want to have relations is because your progeny are going to be chalolim. Shumachi and eloikat shivol, so he would not be a Navarian yet. So just from the fact, so he wouldn't be sent home. Torabon. Asher Bana, Asher Nata, Asher Eras. So the Torah is teaching us a way of life. Limda Torah derech eretz. First, Yivne Adam Bais. Before he gets married, you should build a house. Number two, V'ita Kerem. Planting a vineyard is providing him with parnasa. So he should have some kind of parnasa set up. V'achar kach yisayisha. Then he should get married. We have Shlomo Amar b'chachmaso, hachein b'chutz b'lachtecha, prepare your work, v'atida b'sadeh, and then your field, lach, and achar v'nita beitecha, then you can marry. Hachein b'chutz b'lachtecha zebai, v'atida b'sadeh lach zekerem. Achar v'nita beitecha zuisha. Davar acher, another limud. This is a blueprint for how to study Torah. First, learn Chumash. Mishnah. Eliezer ben Ocher of Yosef Gleidel Oimer, Achein b'chutz b'latcha ze mikra Mishnah Gemara. Ad da b'sod alach elu ma'asim tovim. Achar v'anita beitecha drosh v'kabel schar. Come up with chidushim. Darshan and b'machadesh. That's the final thing. Ve'elu she'en choizrim b'avoda beishar. Tana, im hoisif bo dimus echad, if he built one row of bricks on a remodel, that's already enough to go home. If you built a brick house in the Sharon because of earthquakes, it wouldn't last, and therefore he wouldn't be chayzer. Twice every 7 years, they'd have to rebuild their houses. The following people don't even go to the army and are sent back. They don't have to go anywhere. Isha chadasha, ainli al isha chadasha, a new wife, amana grusha minayin, even if you marry a widow or divorced, tamad lomer isha mikol makom. In came mat tamad lomer isha chadasha, misha chad shalo. These people are new to him. Yatsa machzik grushasha she'ein chadasha lo. If he takes back his divorcee, then you don't go back from the army. Torah Rabbanan lo yitzei batzava. Yachol batzava lo yitzei val yaspik ma'im mozavi takin hadrachim. Maybe he doesn't go fight, but he does provide food and drink. He doesn't do anything. What if he built a house? Not to care, and maybe he doesn't do anything. It's only an Isha Chadasha that doesn't do anything. But Kiddushin, without Nesuin, he has to at least provide water. If he does go back, or he goes to the army when he's married, he's bichayev two lavim. Mishnah. The Shotrim continue to speak to the people. Rabbi Kiva Omer, whoever is afraid, Kamashmo, he says there's no drasha, that's just he gets upset when he sees war, and he gets fearful. Send him home. We don't want him to infect the other soldiers. Rabbi Yosef Li Omer, no. Hayarev rach levav means zeu amisyari min averis shebiyado. He's fearful that he has averis, so send him home. That's why lefichach tosel laTorah kolelu. The Torah mentioned all these other things, like a new wife and a new house, so people wouldn't be embarrassed because they could say, "Oh no, I'm going home because I have a wife." Otherwise, people wouldn't be embarrassed because I'm going home because I have a lot of averis. Rabbi Yossi Omer Alman LaKohen Gadol Grusha V'Chalutz LaKohen Hedyot Mamzeres Nasin LeYisrael by Yisrael Mamzer Nasin Rehu Ayar V'Rachaleke. You committed some kind of aver in your marriage. That's the kind of aver that you go home. And he's afraid he's going to get wounded in battle. That's why he's afraid. V'haya kechalot hashotrim ledaber la'am. The shotrim were finished. Ufogdu sarei tzvos b'rosh ha'am. Uva'akefo shel am, at the back of the army, ma'amidim zekifin lifneim v'achareim. They had guards. Ukashilin shel bar zabedim. They had like spears. You could, if somebody wants to run away, they could hit him in his side. Shetchilas nisa nefila. The beginning of the downfall is running away. Shenemar nas Yisrael if they pleased him. First the Jews ran away. The gamma gave a then they were struck. They pleased him. All of these sending people home, these are all voluntary wars. There is no exemption for Milchemes Mitzvah. Even a chassan and a kala go. What about obligatory? Rav Yehuda said by Milchemes Mitzvah, you also send people home. So there's a difference according to Rav Yehuda between Milchemes Mitzvah, that's Kibush Eretz Yisrael b'mei Yoshua. Now the question is, what did Rav Yehuda mean by Milchemes Chova? Ma ikah ben Rav Yossi Aglili. Ik bin Aved Rabbona. If you had Averis mid Rabbona, according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, you go back. According to Rabbi Yossi, you only go back if you did an Aver min Torah, like in Israel Mona, the Kohen Gadol. Kemana Azla Hadatanya. Sach ben Tefillah L'Tefillah. You're not supposed to speak between putting on your Tefillin Shel Rosh and your Tefillin Shel Yad and your Tefillin Shel Rosh. So someone who spoke Averi Hi Biyado, that's an example of an Aver that you get sent home for. Kiman, Rabbi Yossi Aglili. It's even rabbinic on any Aver. Man Tanaladitan Rabbanan, Shama Kol Kronos. If he heard horns and he was afraid, Hagafas Trace and Virtier, he heard the banging on the shields. He hears the clashing of swords and he urinates on himself. Come on. Maybe this is only Lema Rabbi Kiva below Rabbi Yossi Aglili, because Rabbi Kiva talked about fear. So if someone urinates on himself, he's gonna cause mass panic. It's not the beginning of running away is dropping. The beginning of an army's downfall is running away. Rishus to Rabbanon, Zui Mitzvah Rabbi Yehuda. A Mechama of Rishus, according to the rabbis, that's a Mitzvah Rabbi Yehuda. Mitzvah Rabbanon, if it's a rabbinic mitzvah, to fight Zui Choyved Rabbi Yehuda. Amrav Melchames Yoshua Lichvosh Divar Kol Choyved. When Yoshua went in, everyone holds that's obligatory. Melchames Beis David L'Ravacha, the fights of Beis David to enlarge Klal Yisrael, they were called Rishus. To keep goyim from like self-defense. That's the Machlokas Rav Yehuda of Rabbanan by a mitzvah Rishus. According to one you'd be potter min mitzvah. So, but according to when it says Yechayah, that's the Melchama to make sure the Goyim doesn't come inside. Mar kari la mitzvah, mar kari rishus. Nafkamina lo oisik b'mitzvah shepotter min mitzvah. If you're doing a mitzvah and you do other, so therefore you're potter to do other things. According to Rav Yehuda, it's a mitzvah.
Don't we all that the milchemet of David HaMelech was milchema la'atid lavo, that it wasn't just a milchemet reshut, that
No.
it was kitchel shaita kitchel la'atid lavo.
We're talking about David HaMelech when he went to conquer Syria.
Ah,
Yeah. So Aram
Okay.
Tova, so that was considered, he didn't do it with Sanhedrin.
yeah, but his kibush was kibush l'shaita and kibush la'atid lavo, I think.
That's in Eretz Yisrael, but not, we're talking
Yeah. Okay.
kibush that he did outside of Eretz Yisrael.
Okay.
Harlach b'shluch Melchama, harlach b'shluch Melchama, harlach b'shluch Melchama. New parak. Egla rufa v'loshna kodesh. There's a din that if you have two cities and a dead body is found between the two cities, you measure, and the city closest, there's a kingdom of that city, you have to go down to a river and decapitate an egla. That's the mitzvah of egla rufa. So, and they have to say va'anu ve'amru, yadenu lo shafchu. You know, our hands didn't commit this murder. They have to do it b'loshna kodesh. Shenemar ki matzei chalal badama, v'yatzus kenecha v'shavtecha. Shloisha mibeis nagadol shabishlam ayu yotzim. Tanakama says 3 judges from the Sanhedrin. Rabbi Yehuda Omer chamisha. Shenemar is kenecha shnayim, shavtecha shnayim. Vein beis din shakul. You can't have an equal. Moisik aleinu echad 5. Now, if the corpse was not found on top of the ground, but Nimsa Tamim Bagal was buried, or Toli Be'il are hanging on a tree, or Tzafap Ne'amayim, or floating on water, Lo Ayu Arfin. There's no Dineg Larufa. Shenemar Badama, V'lo Tamim Bagal, Noifil, V'lo Toli Be'ilan, Basade, V'lo Tzafap Ne'amayim. Nimsa Samach Lasfar, if it was near the border, or Le'ir Sharuba Nachrim, or a city majority of Goyim, or Le'ir She'ein Ba Bezdin, or a city doesn't have a Bezdin, Lo Ayu Arfin. There was no Egla roof. And Ein Moidedin, El Le'ir She'esh Ba Bezdin. You only measure to a city that has a Bezdin. Now, you have to bring a proof that the Egla roof had to be done in Hebrew. So, what's the proof? My Kamar. Amravachi Kamar. Shenemar Va'anu V'amru. Well, Halano Amr Va'anu Alvim. By the Hargrizim. Mani Amur L'Alam B'Lashna Kodesh, we proved over there, the Hebrew Afkan B'Lashna Kodesh. The Seder Egla Rufa Ketzah, how did it work? Ki Matzei Chalal Badama, they found the corpse. V'yatzus Kenecha V'Shovtecha, your Zekanim and your Shofti. Shloishim Beizin HaGodol Shv'Shleim Ayu Yoytz. Rabbi Yehuda Ben Chamisha. Tan Rabbi V'yatzus Kenecha V'Shovtecha, Kenecha Shnayim, Shovtecha Shnayim, and then 4, Vein Bezdin Shoko, you can't have an even Bezdin. Mosif Aleim Od Echad, you have to add 1. Arei Kan Chamisha Div Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon Omer is Kenecha Shnayim, Vein Bezdin Shoko, Mosif Aleim Od Echad. So you have 3. I Rabbi Shimon Nami Aksi V'Shovtecha, Ahu Meboyle Lemiyuchadim Sheb'Shovtecha. It's not just a judge in the local town, it has to become from the Sanhedrin. Rabbi Yehuda Mizikne is Kenecha Nafka. He learns it from the change of Zikne to Zkenecha. Rabbi Shimon Ikas Rachon Zikne Avimina Filu Zikne Hashuk, maybe not even a Rav, just an elder. Because Rachon Zkenecha means a judge. Because Rachon Zkenecha Avimina Filu Sanhedrin, a small Sanhedrin, because Rachon V'Shovtecha Lemichodim Sheb'Shovtecha. The top of the line, the Sanhedrin in Yerushalayim. Rabbi Yehuda Gamar Zikne Mizikne Ha'eda.
Why don't we say that if it's a Rov Goyim, we don't bring the Egla Rufa? Why don't we say that if there is Goyim in the city, since Jews are not known to be murderers, why would they still bring Negla Rufa? Let's say the majority of the killers are Goyim and
It's
not
an-
Jews.
It's an
So what
example.
difference would it make if
So
the rove of the
here-
rove of the city is Goyim or
Here-
not?
Here,
The rove of the
Sheruba,
murderers are not Jewish people.
here,
For
Sheruba,
for the same reason that we don't bring an Egel Rufa if the majority are Goyim, we shouldn't, even if the Jews are majority of the city, since the rove of the murderers are not Jewish. The Jews are not killers usually.
if the majority of the city were Jewish, then you did do Egla Rufa.
Yeah, that's not Alan, Elazar. The concept is that you had to be malava him. You obviously did something wrong that he got killed. So they didn't do the right thing. So that's why you malava, and that's behind it. That's why we bring the skanim and we bring a negla rufa.
So Rabbi Yehuda Gomer Zikne Mizikne Aeda. Mala Alam Yuchodim Shebe'eda. There it was Sanhedrin. Avkan Yuchodim Shebe'eda. I Gomer Legamra Kul Milsameosim. So then what do you need? Skenech V'Shavtecha Lamali. Learn it from Zikne. Ela Vav V'Shavtecha Leminyana. The Vav of V'Shavtecha says that you have to add another 2, where you get to 5, according to Rabbi Yehuda. Okay. Okay, so
Kayach.
tomorrow is Wednesday.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we